Hello and good morning to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome you to another great edition of This Morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I am joined today by some amazing people. First, I want to introduce my amazing co-hosts for today, Dr. DeGuzman and Sheila Applegate. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
And also, we have a very special guest. I'd say our very special co-host today is Shannon Grissom.
Good morning.
Hey, Shannon, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you all doing?
Fantastic. A little bit about Shannon. Shannon is an award-winning artist, television producer, host, author, and songwriter. Her latest project is The Sock Monkey Oracle, a joyful marriage of her metaphysical and creative life. We are so glad to have you here with us because we're going to be talking about one of your favorite things today, and that is joy, but also wonder and gratitude in our everyday life. So I'm so happy about this. Before we begin, I just want to remind everybody that, listen, you're part of this conversation. You're listening in. We want your questions, your comments, your thoughts. Just post them right to our chats on Facebook and YouTube, and you can be part of this conversation. We'll even show some of those comments and thoughts during our broadcast today. Also, before we get started, a lot of things that's going on in the United States, specifically on the East Coast and part of the Midwest. There's forest fires that are in our beautiful neighbor, Canada, specifically in the province of Ontario, that caused a lot of smoke and haze that has fallen down into this part of the world. And so we just want to make sure that we remind everybody, listen, take care of yourself. If you don't have to go outside, if you're in an affected area, please do not. If you do have to go out, wear a mask, preferably an N95 mask, or even wear eye protection, especially if you are prone to upper respiratory problems, or you are in a category of health where it could be bad for you to go outside and breathe that kind of stuff. So just wanted to kind of mention that. I know, Sheila, you've been dealing with it. I've been dealing with it here in DC. And so and Shannon, I mean, you guys deal with it all the time out in California. So It's not fun. It is not fun. As I said before, we're going to be talking about finding joy, wonder, and gratitude in everyday moments. Man, I love this topic. I think, again, this morning is all about talking about things that we don't normally talk about, right, ladies? And this is one of them. Shannon, I'll go to you first and foremost about this because your professional life has been about people exercising the choice to find these things in their everyday life. Generally speaking, why is this important for you?
Well, I think like everybody, stuff happens.
Yes.
Stuff happens, and it's so easy to get swallowed up and swept downstream, and pretty soon you're drowning in the stuff that's happening. And so I decided that, I couldn't change much of what was happening, and all I could change was how I dealt with it. So I thought, you know what, I need to every time the stuff either ran through my mind or came from an external source, because it happens both ways. I needed to start focusing. Search for the good, hunt it down. And so it's become a habit. Yeah. And it's really helped shift my life.
Absolutely. Sheila, you're part of a group called Joy Keepers. And Soulivity will be part of this in a minute. We'll be announcing that shortly. Joy. I love the co-founder of Joy Keepers, Selena Goldstein, talks about joy all the time.
Mhm.
And I've experienced this in my own life, but how has it been for you? I mean, like getting through everyday moments include, like Shannon was just saying, like stuff happens.
Mhm.
So what has been your experience with joy in terms of like this process that we're talking about today?
Well, I've really, well, I think I've had that positive attitude, look for the good um, throughout quite a bit of my life. To me, I've really come to understand that while I focus on all emotions and learning to embrace all emotions, and
Yeah.
that's kind of been the playground of my work throughout
Yeah.
my career.
Yeah.
Joy, like love, to me is a vibration. It's a
Mm,
state of being that is within us in every moment. So, just like love is unconditional, so is the vibration of joy. And we have a choice whether to focus on it or not. So, it's not exterior happiness,
yeah.
which we may have moments of happy, but joy is something we can return to in any moment by moving our attention back into that frequency and allowing it to be a part of even the most difficult lives. I
Right.
think about the different times in my life that have been difficult, and the last years with my parents, both Alzheimer's and dementia, and then their crossing. Those were really difficult times, but joy
Yeah.
was there the whole time. We would laugh and giggle together and just be in that
Oh,
space of gratitude and joy and wonder. And I feel like it makes all the difference.
wow. Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Dr. Chanel, I mean, I know in your personal world, I know that joy is something that's important to you. But also as you mentor people in their professional lives, I think that you do this work too. Can you talk a little bit about both of those dynamics, both in your professional and your personal world, how you are able to find joy?
Absolutely, Brian. Well, first of all, I just feel this, this awesome energy on this call even
Yeah.
before we got on because of the people
Mm.
on it with who are also full of joy. For me personally, I feel like I have a deep, abiding sense of joy on the
Mhm.
inside. It's like a seabed of goodness, just goodness.
Mhm.
And when I'm running throughout the day or have been running throughout my life, I don't always, stay conscious of it, even though there's a presence there, right?
Yeah.
Full of
Mhm.
joy, the fullness of joy. And for me, it helps just to allow myself to be expressive and to not be dependent upon external quote unquote stimulants for my grounded internal happiness.
Right.
And that is exactly, Brian, what I work with my clients on. They're so busy in their professional life, aspiring and climbing, and the ambition, it's usually all a cover up, either
Hmm.
consciously or unconsciously. And so bringing them back to themselves, to that internal state of just pure bliss, and contentment,
Hmm.
all of that springs out of joy. We try to get them back centered and conscious of that so then they can go on and express who they really are, what they really want to be, and what they really
Hmm.
want to have.
Absolutely. I know, Shannon, I mean, again, you're an award-winning artist. You've done television production. You've been a host. I mean, songwriter. So your life has been chock full of different things that you've allowed your passion to kind of work through. This is probably something true for you too, right? Where your passion can kind of just take over and you forget sometimes to find or to practice joy, right?
Yes, I get so busy that I forget. That's what I forget, and back to what Sheila was saying. It's like there are no bad days. I would say there are bad parts of a day or bad unpleasant parts of a day, but there are always
Mhm.
some good, beautiful, wonderful things, and then that also reflects on what Dr. Chanel said. Is I what I need to do when I get out of whack is I need to go back to listening and meditate or walk.
Mhm.
And it really comes down for me is when I get out of line, it's when I'm not present.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
my biggest challenge is to be present.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Yes. Yes. And that, you know, I'm glad we're talking about this again because you just hit the nail on the head. We get uncomfortable because we're not in the present moment.
Mhm.
And that range of emotion, right, that we feel that kind of have different resonancies are there to put us back in the alignment of what is the flow in that present moment. What are you led to do? The answers to questions you may have? They're not in the future, they're in the moment, right? um Sheila, we did the interview with Helena a few weeks ago, and she talked about, like, you guys did the infuse your finances with joy, right? So many people have issues with their finances because they're thinking about them non-joyfully. And I think that
Mm.
has to do with they're not being in the present moment with them and allowing positivity and good thoughts flow into it, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's as an example.
Yeah. I think that finances is an area that a lot of people struggle with that because
Mhm.
it ignites our ego, our survival instinct, because right now money represents survival in our
Right,
world.
right.
And so if you can remember to bring the joy into that space, now you're perceiving and navigating it from a higher level of consciousness than that instinct to survive, which can be very frightening.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And I think all of that is where a lot of people live, right? They live in that brainstem area where
Mhm.
it's all about fight or flight.
Mhm.
It's we're fearful of everything. And so we live in this constant state of just trying to survive. And we
Right.
think that that's all that there is. Um, I love, Dr. Chanel, that you pointed out the fact that that is not true, right?
Absolutely, Brian. So I was thinking on my drive into work well, in my office here, that, just observing the racing on the highway, I mean,
Yeah.
going from lane 3 all the way over to lane 1, the passing lane. I mean, so people are in this state and they're in that survival, in that make it happen, gotta get it done. And I'm just kind of pulling back and just observing and just remembering, yeah, I need to be present. And it's just this roller coaster of survival. I think that, like what Shannon is saying, is that we forget the joy because we're in this state of constant movement and momentum,
Wow.
but it's not really with the aim of, peace and serenity and happiness and all those good internal states. It's a lot of externally driven aspirations, like
Right.
I have to get here at a certain time, and thus I might be doing behaviors that are, unsafe on the road.
Right, right. That's so, we need to talk about that part too, because I think, like, timing and stuff like that, we get so wrapped up in, like, um, you know, how we look. Are we going to be there on time? How are people going to perceive me when I get to where I'm going to go? And we're all in the future,
Mhm.
and we don't take time to just stay in the moment and really be amongst the flowers that are part of our life, and just enjoy that part. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about this, but we'll move into wonder and what wonder means in our everyday lives, because that's another important aspect that I think that people don't think about on any consistent basis. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit soulivity.com now.
I just love that commercial. We're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. We're talking about finding joy, wonder, and gratitude in everyday moments. We have a very special person with us today that's sharing her thoughts. Shannon Grissom, award-winning artist, television producer, author, and songwriter. Shannon, one of the aspects I think that I think goes really unnoticed. I mean, I think people think about joy a little bit. They may think about gratitude, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But wonder is another important aspect that we need to kind of cultivate. What is wonder to you?
Wonder is this. I'm filled first of all with curiosity, love.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. I was taking a walk the other day, and I don't listen to anything, and I usually go by myself so that I can just experience the walk. And I see this snail, and the snail has climbed up this huge, gigantic bird of paradise, and is just sitting in the flower feasting. I was thinking about the great feasting in paradise, right? And so I thought about. So for me, it was this magnificent, uplifting moment that also is thought provoking. So not only does it fill me with joy, but it also gets me thinking about other things. And it was just wonderful. And I thought, oh, that's fun. That was not intended. I thought at the moment that had I been listening to the radio or with somebody else, that I would have missed it. I would have missed the magic in the present. And so that's an example of wonder for me. But I mean, how cool that this little snail had to travel so far to get to paradise, but he made it.
Sheila, what's wonder to you?
Well, the seeing of the snail and taking time to notice is definitely part of that for me. The wonder to me is probably the greatest essence of our spirituality. And what I've noticed as a spiritual seer and guide and teacher over the years is that a lot of times people take the path of spirituality very seriously, and they forget that it is about celebration of life. And so wonder to me is the foundation of that. It's the foundation of the consciously awesome Gnostic adventures. That it's that realizing, being aware, looking at that magical essence of being alive on earth that we feel when we're children, but we forget. And so it's this, to me, it's a magical adventure of paying attention and being present in the magnificence of this opportunity we have on earth, rather than trudging along and either trying to escape through spirituality or trying to make it through until the end of life, when we have that experience of union that people might be looking for.
Right. Wow. Thank you for that. Dr. Chanel, what about you?
Well, I like, Sheila, what you just said. I like the words magical essence, magical adventure. I will, be transparent. I'll be the transparent host. Not or not, but I'm going to be very transparent and say, like what you were saying, Brian, we might be grounded. I know I'm grounded in joy, and we'll talk about gratitude. I will say that wonder is not an element that I have delved into
Yeah.
to the extent maybe that you all have. But definitely having this conversation is helping me to, you know, obviously understand the importance of it. You know, I think about curiosity, what I think
Hmm.
Shannon said, and I think about imagination maybe
Mhm.
being somewhat similar to wonder, but taking the time to pause long enough to just be and allow what you also said, Sheila, allow and whatever you notice, whether this is a small snail, you know, having a paradise moment or
Mm.
whatever the case
Hmm.
is, again, being on the fast track, and I had been on the fast track for so long. My practice is really focused on gratitude and joy, and I am going to be encouraged today to continue to integrate um, wonder into it. But I would say I'm at the very beginning of that part of my journey.
Beautiful.
It's it's not uncommon, Dr. Chanel, at all for people not to think about wonder as a part of their regular practice around like joy and gratitude. I know I don't do it as much as I don't practice it as much as I would like to do it. But talking about it here today, reading more about it, it really pushes me to the point which I'm like, okay, no, this needs to be part of
Mhm,
my regular practice of staying in the present. In
mhm,
fact, I just put an article in the chat that talks about how a bit of awe can improve your health.
Mhm.
And the Dr. Keltner, he wrote a book about this, and he writes that I look at awe and wonder as basically the same thing. And he says, he writes that awe is critical to our well being, just like joy, contentment, and love. His research suggests it has a tremendous health benefit that include calming down our nervous system and triggering the release of oxytocin, the love hormone that promotes trust and bonding. So things like, in your relationships, for example, finding wonder in that,
Mhm.
in your relationships with coworkers, your relationships with your family, um, finding awe and wonder in them, like, really helps promote a deeper, more loving relationship, right? That's just for
mhm.
instance. Also in something that you're passionate about. I mean, Shannon, you're a poster child for this, kind of with like the sock monkey oracle cards and the sock monkey journey for yourself, or the TV show that you produced for many years. That is all about finding wonder in your life, right? Additionally, joy, but like seeing the world as a child.
Yes. My husband says I have a little arrested development, but it served me well.
That's funny. And before we go to break, just like I had my grandbaby over here a couple days ago. And man, I tell you, if there's one thing
Mhm.
that puts you in the space of awe and wonder is little kids,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mm, yeah.
because they just see everything. They see a quarter and it's like, wow. And then they'll play with it and they'll get joyful around it, and you're like, it's a quarter. What are you doing?
Or Ryan, an empty box
Oh,
or
empty. Oh my gosh.
They're the
That's
best.
oh my gosh. And they're exploring what this thing is. And so again, it's a reminder of what that life is meant to be good, right? Life is
Mhm,
really meant to be good. And yes, there are times in which we have challenges and stuff like that. But here are ways to ease through those challenges with some peace, ease, and grace, right? And so that's what we're kind of talking about today and why this is so important. So we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about one of my favorite things to do, and that is have gratitude. So we'll be back in about a minute.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're excited. We're going to be starting up some rebroadcast of Consciously Awesome Living with Sheila Applegate this coming Wednesday. So look for, announcements on, on our social media and especially on our website. So yay. So talk about wonder. See, I'm wonder and joy about that. um, Gratitude. I'm so grateful that you guys are here. See how I'm practicing it already. Dr. Chanel, what is gratitude for you? What does it mean in your life for you?
Gratitude lights up my soul and my heart, and it brings it alive. And an example was when, I told you about the traffic, and it wasn't traffic, it was just, the racing of it. When I pulled into the parking lot, I was just like, thank you, God.
Right,
that I'm
right.
here, safe, and I'm at peace. So gratitude is allowing me to, as I evolve in my journey, is to practice gratitude moment by moment is my highest aspiration, so that everything that I take in, my hot breakfast today, my, cupping my hot tea in the car for the ride,
Mm,
having space where I can come and do this show in a sound booth, right? Just
right.
every moment, every realization to express and to be aware of how blessed I am and to express gratitude or thankfulness for it. And so I'm aiming for every moment to be a gratitude, thankful moment.
Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Thank you for that. See what I just did? Sheila, what about you? What is gratitude for you?
When I think of gratitude, I'm thinking of acknowledgement, and to me, it's like that step where we've taken that joy and that wonder that we just experienced and anchor it into our awareness, our consciousness, and sort of our life in that moment by really taking the time to appreciate it and be grateful, to be thankful for that, whatever it was, right? And when we do that, I feel like that it reminds us that the universe is conspiring on our behalf, that things are here to support us. It also then helps us connect with other people because we all like to be appreciated and we like people to acknowledge their gratitude. So it's a way for me to sort of make it more interactive, both with my life and with the people around me.
Woo. Thank you for that. See what I did there too? Shannon, what about you? I know you be doing this, girl.
Gratitude.
I started a kind of an official gratitude practice back in 2009, and my niece had challenged everybody to write something they were grateful for, and for the whole month of November, and so that was in 2009, and it became such a part of my life that I haven't stopped. And so it's woven into the rest of my day. I talked about my walks earlier, and basically what I do is I go out and I experience whatever is outside, and I'll shoot pictures of it, and then I post every day what I'm grateful for on social media. And so what that's done is it's helping me. I'm not saying I'm there yet, Dr. Snell. I love what you said, every moment by moment. I'm working to, that's my goal, is to be in the present, be in the moment, and be grateful. And what Sheila said about acknowledgement, just a simple thing. Like the other day I was unloading the dishwasher, and I thought, wow, my shoulder doesn't hurt. This is no big deal to do this. I'm so grateful. I mean, so the fact that I'm shifting in these little everyday things, the acknowledgement is important.
Wow. I heard this constant theme in all three of you, and it resonated with me, and that is the acknowledgement, right? Acknowledging that these things are here in the present moment that add into your life, right? In whatever way it is, may it be the bed that you sleep on, right? The home that you live, the car that you drive, the person that you partner with, the children that have been born unto you, and that give back to you as well. I mean, all those different things, just acknowledging them. And I guess, and I'll just throw this question out there. Gratitude for me is a way of acknowledging God, Spirit, the universe in everything. And by doing so, you acknowledge that in yourself.
I'll say absolutely to that, Brian, because for me, it's all good. So
Yeah.
God is good, and there is just goodness, and that really is all there is. And so being present and living in these moment by moment moments of thankfulness and appreciation, valuing, acknowledging, to me, shows me personally how blessed I am. And so we all have different states of, our being. But for me, let's say something isn't going, or I haven't arrived at some destination yet, right, in life or a goal, but to appreciate every moment along the way just reminds me of how blessed I truly am. And it's like what you said, some of those small things, like, I had to turn the heat on, but having heat
Right.
is a blessing. Or
Absolutely.
to be able to flip on the air condition, every little thing can be viewed as a blessing, which only attracts more blessings into your life, more things to be grateful for, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Sheila, what about you?
Yeah, I liked what you said about it being connected to spirituality or God, because I do think that when we stop to be grateful, we are acknowledging that it could have gone a different way, that the universe is aligning on our behalf. And even in those moments where we're grumpy and we can still see the gratitude in it, that we're acknowledging something more, whatever language that we use.
Right.
This dance of energy that we are navigating as we're alive. And I like that idea.
Thank you for that. Shannon, any thoughts about this?
It all kind of circles back to me about being in the present, and it's when I'm in gratitude and in the present, I'm in love, and that for me is the foundation for everything.
Woo! Y'all are on fire today. I'm definitely going to go back and listen to this show. Listen, we're going to take another quick break because I want to kind of bring all of these different things back to center, and it's kind of like answering the question why, but it's more, a little more than that, I think, because I think that we can intellectualize these different concepts and why they're important, but it's really about living and moving from surviving to living to thriving. And how's that look? So we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about this on This Morning with Soulivity. So we'll be right back.
Are you ready to take that first step towards true, unwavering inner happiness? Are you like thousands of people who have everything they need, not want, but need, and still can't seem to find happiness and fulfillment in their lives? If so, the Steps to Happiness show is for you. On my show, you will learn about the principles and practices that lead to true inner happiness. Because guess what? It isn't found in our external environment, but within ourselves instead. Together with my guests, we will explore the latest physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being practices. And together, we'll advise you on the actionable steps you can take towards a happier, more fulfilled, authentic life. So I invite you to join me each week on Soulivity TV on the Steps to Happiness show with me, Teresa Greco.
Hey, Teresa. We're talking about finding joy, wonder, and gratitude in everyday moments. And I'm going to throw this out to the three of you in terms of like kind of bringing this back to center. And what I'm thinking of is, I'm sure the three of you have heard about the 4 levels of consciousness, correct? Where the first level is to me, where you're in a state where you're at the will and effect of life. It doesn't matter what emotion we feel. The cause of the experience is kind of like always outside of us. And then you move from that to by me, which replaces blame from the to me stage with personal responsibility, where you now move into that you are a co-creator and that you can empower your life and you can choose how you react to outside forces, to the point at which you move to through me, which is a state of surrendering to the present moment, kind of like all three of you were talking about that state. And then as me, where it's a spiritual experience. There's a blurring of the personal self and connection and a connection with oneness. It's all just oneness at that point. And so as I look at what we've kind of talked about today, I look at these different aspects as part of the support system to move you into oneness through those different things when you're having either challenges or life is good. I mean, it just becomes another practice. What do you think about that? I'll go to you, Shannon, first.
Well, I remember the first time that I read that, I think the first time that I realized that things weren't happening to me and that it was my responsibility. And, you know, that whole, I was like, oh man.
I think we all have that, Shannon.
You mean, so it was this big, I think I had a little grieving process through that when it first occurred to me.
Yeah.
And these practices that all of us have been talking about and these states of being are what brings us back as me, or brings us to as me. And it's fluid. I go through all these states. It's not like I live in any one of them. I go through all of them. And what gratitude, joy, wonder, what all of those do is bring me back home where I need to be. They take me out of the first 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Sheila, how about you?
Well, I'm thinking about oneness, and conscious oneness is what I strive to teach or guide people to, because, you know, that knowing that, yes, we are all one, we are all connected, and yet here we are in an individual personality experience life as we want it, and allowing ourselves to be part of the participant as it is by us. And it also helps those moments, because I know in the spiritual world, a lot of people speak of, well, everything happens for a reason. And that can be really hurtful to someone going through something really difficult.
Yeah.
And so when we remember that it really, I like what you said, Shannon, it really is this navigation between all of these different aspects of understanding And when we can be present in the oneness, the connection of it all, we can navigate through those different levels of consciousness while experiencing that joy and wonder and gratitude for the process.
Yeah.
So to me, that wonder always connects us back to that, because it connects me back to life. When I think of wonder, I mean, it's in everything. And yet to me, the children, like you spoke of, or the instant of, the other day I walked out and there was a bunny in the grass and he started to jump away and then looked and saw that it was me and then just went back to eating like a foot away from me. And I'm like, oh my God, that to me is like all of these things.
Nothing to fear here.
We are one.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
so.
Sheila.
Oh man, how about you, Dr. Chanel?
Well, Brian, I'm going back to what you ended on the last segment, in addition to the 4 states of consciousness. But going from survival to living to thriving, I think it really summarizes pretty much everything that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And for me, it generates a few questions as it relates to joy, wonder, and gratitude. And so I
Mhm.
put down 4 questions, and maybe to
Go for
help us to stay present and grounded. So the first one is, in this moment, am I okay? And
Oh.
usually the answer is probably going to be
Ooh.
yes. In this moment, I am okay.
Mm.
Number 2, what really makes me happy? Like, just can we stop for a minute and just connect
Yeah.
and touch? Like, outside of what people think and what we're conditioned, what really makes me happy? Number 3, as it relates to the wonder, do I steal away for quick contemplation just to allow myself to go in a place that maybe I haven't been before and wonder and imagine possibilities? And then the last one, as it relates to gratitude, what am I most grateful for right in this moment?
Yeah.
And keep having those moments and string those moments along and together, and you're going to create this incredible, beautiful life and move more towards this elevation of oneness that you all are referring to.
Mm, mm, mm,
It's beautiful.
mm, mm, mm.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. There's I'm trying to remember if it was Iyanla Van Zandt or someone else who talked about the fact that you just laid down a process that keeps us grounded in the truth that I'm going to be okay, right? Whatever I'm going through, whatever's happening, I'm going to be okay. And so it's okay to check in and ask the series of questions to move you out of the whole panic, right? Because I think a lot of
Yes.
times we're panicking. We're living life through panic, which is not good on our bodies. I mean, there's studies around, how, being happier allows you a more peaceful and longer life on this stage of living, in this stage of living in a human existence. By far, I mean, I think the last one I read was, it's like you can live at least 35% longer if you are happier and you're embodying that in your body,
Yes.
right? And that your transition into the other realm is way more peaceful
Right.
than the alternative. So thank you for that. Wow, this is such a great show, man. I'm so grateful. I'm in joy and wonder and gratitude for all of you. um, any final thoughts, Shannon? Let's go to you first. Any final thoughts about this that you'd like to share with our audience? Like, what's one thought that you have that you want to share?
For me, it really goes back to focusing on being in the present. That's how I experience everything. When I'm not in the present, I miss out on life.
Well, yes, absolutely. Dr. Chanel, what about you?
I'm going to go back to encouraging all of us to live moment by moment. And I was also thinking, as you're expressing moments of gratitude, then chances are in that moment, hopefully you're not aware of any pain or angst, but that you are truly embodying that element, that energy of gratitude and joy and wonder.
Mm. Thank you for that. And Sheila?
I'm gonna say take a moment to explore wonder today and each day, and allow your imagination to lead you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think my thought right now is something that we learn in science, and that is only two things can occupy the same space at the same time.
Yes.
And so we all can make a conscious choice, even when we're either in pain or fear, or whatever challenge we're going through. We can consciously choose to bring into our space something that will help us move through the present moment with a little more ease, a little more peace, and a little more grace. And that is something that you deserve. That's something you deserve.
Mhm.
You were born with it. It's here. It's been with you since you were a little baby, and that you can choose to have a more positive and peaceful and practical and progressive experience, to the point at which you're more realizing that life is really meant to be good in every moment. In every moment. So thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you
Um
for another incredible topic, Brian.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
whoop 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 whoop. um why don't we get to some shameless plugs? I love saying that. Soulivity shameless plugs. And why don't we start with you, Shannon? I know a lot about your wonderful sock monkey oracle cards and that kind of thing. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about them?
This is Talk About Wonder. This is just a fun way of tapping into your inner guidance. Great for inner child work. They just bring joy. So I would say go to sockmonkeyoracle.com and learn more.
Woo woo! I love it. 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 And these cards are so great. I still use them, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, they're right here by my desk, and so I'll look over and I'll see that beautiful face, that sock monkey right there, and I'll pull them out, and I can't. I mean, you look at it, you can't help but smile. I mean, it's just how it is. Sheila, you've got something. You got a couple of incredible things happening right now. Something that we talked about yesterday, first and foremost, which is the launch of a book that's now an international bestseller
It
already.
is, yeah.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about this book.
So the Energy Healers Oracle, Tools for Total Transformation, just was released this week. And it's a collaborative book that oracles 21 different modalities of energy healing. And Zach and I are in the section, we talk about fractal illumination, which is an energy modality that was brought to us when we first got together. So it's a lot of fun, really cool healers, master healers from around the world. And it is on sale right now. The e-version is only $1.99 for the next day or two, I believe. So
Wow.
check it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you've got something coming up very, very
Tonight.
soon. Tonight.
Tonight is the 8th of June, and on the 8th of every month here on Soulivity with Aspire, we do the Matrix of Illumination, and that is a time to come together in conversation. I do a guided meditation, and I open up to divine source energy to bring forth messages that directly impact us right now, what we need to hear when we come together.
Woo woo. All right. And so that's on Aspire, and I got to put it up here so you guys can actually see it.
Yes, let's get those links.
Those are so much fun.
Yeah,
We
I
have so
really
much
have
fun when
fun.
we do. I mean, so please go to aspire.com and you'll be able to join a wonderful group of people during this experience as well. Last but not least, of course, Dr. Chanel, you've got some things that you're doing right now, including a fantastic book that's available on Amazon.com as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Brian, if you want to develop and deepen your inner strength, that's where the joy is and the space for wonder and the opportunity to express gratitude in every moment. Pick up the book, Come Back to Yourself, Love Life, Live Free. It's on Amazon. And if you want to have a chat, a tea chat to talk about where you are and what's getting in the way of of survival and how to get out of that, then let's sit down and talk for a free consultation on coaching. And the number will be in the comments.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Woo! This is fantastic, y'all. Great show today with our very special guest co-host, Shannon Grissom. Would you come back, Shannon?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I
Okay,
love hanging out with
fantastic.
you guys.
Yes. Listen, we've only got a few more minutes to go here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say thank you for joining us. Please remember to follow us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, all the majors. We are there. Just search for Soulivity and we will pop up. Also, join our mailing list by visiting our This Morning Soulivity website by going to soulivity.com. And you can get access to probably exclusive content and even do some giveaways. We're going to be announcing the giveaways from yesterday on our book club today. So go there as well on Facebook. Listen, on behalf of all of us, again, thank you for joining us for another episode of This Morning with Soulivity. We hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or you can listen Thursday and Friday on KMET 1490 a.m. at 9 a.m. Pacific time for all of you guys on the West Coast. So Shannon, you can actually, listen to yourself again at 9 a.m. Listen, until next time, keep having real conversations with passion and purpose and create a life full of high quality living today. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.